nose, there got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, there got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though.
Well, good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be back. George Morgan here at your service. It's PSGL, it's Wednesday night, it's Spain tonight as well. Lots on the table, lots of battling. The title contest is still alive and kicking. And Jack, it's only taken us 10 rounds. We're on the 11th. It's all to play for.
Boromant goes on the inside and takes the lead on the final lap of the race. Now it's side by side between Boromant and Warner, but Boromant's got the inside.
Star here in this phenomenal race. Cameron Dowd looking to take P2 in his very first PSGL F1 PC race. Incredible to say the least. You see that Putin to lead. 1.5 seconds. DRS is the name.
A big good evening to you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome along to PSGL F2. We are here. It's been a long season. It's been a long winter, not a winter break, but it's been quite cold the last few weeks. But we are going to have some hot action from the desert. It is the Sakir International Circuit, and it is Bahrain, the round 11 of the season. Our championship may be wrapped up, but that usually leaves a mental race, so hopefully we can have a fantastic one. Joining alongside me for this evening, it is not Mr. Timon Den Blanken. He's off doing time and activities, as I like to say. Joining me for this evening, it's a newcomer to the commentary box. I'm being joined by the very fine SJ. SJ, how are you keeping?
Yeah, no, nice to meet you, Evan. Yeah, looking really forward to this. Obviously, last race of the season can obviously have shenanigans. We can have a fantastic entertainment race, so I'm looking forward to it. And obviously, there is a lot of things that can change, obviously, in regards to that P2 and P3. So still more drama to happen if that happens tonight in Bahrain.
Yes, we do have a lot of drama, and as SJ rightfully mentioned, we still have a bit of a championship fight. Whoa, that is very zoomed in. Hold on, we'll fix that graphic. We'll keep going. We'll go back to the face camera for a second while I fix that graphic. But we do have a fantastic race here this evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is Sakir. It is Bahrain. Unfortunately, we're not going to have any wet weather because I don't think we've ever had wet weather. I believe some championships are starting to do on purpose wet weather Bahrain races, which is a really intriguing one, but that is not the order of the evening. Right, let's now cut to our championship standings that are on your screen. You can see Matteo is, of course, your champion of this season. He's the only man and will be the only man to cross the 100-point mark, as he did pick up 5 race wins on his season. It's been a fantastic season for him. And look, he's looking to continue that streak tonight. I can confirm to you, we will be hearing from Matteo at the end of this race. If you joined us last week, you will know it was an absolute disaster from a streaming perspective, so we didn't get to do any interviews. We will hear from Matteo after this race, your newly crowned champion. Newt then is in second. He's looking to confirm second in the championship this evening, but he does have the Spaniard of FIO Zorzo right behind him. Flotman then is in fourth. He's a reserve driver and has done quite well as of recent, so he's looking to continue that form. It was fourth place in Silverstone, but he has got 2 podiums since joining us here in the F2 tier. It is Ian Van Unen in 5th position, the Dutchman who was, of course, or did lead the championship for 2 rounds, then had a few issues here and there, but he's looking to finish the season just as well as he started it. Then it is Covers, unfortunately cannot make it here this evening. Covers not feeling well, as he posted on his Twitter account. So Covers, if you're watching, I wish you the best. And it is Danielle, Diogo Silva, Johan, Dirk, and that is your top 10. SJ, is there any names that stick out to you there that we should watch for this evening?
One. Probably Matteo. I don't know much about these guys, but obviously...
Yeah, I have thrown you in the dark here. Apologies.
No, that's all good. Duras Smith, I've heard about him as well. Yeah, no, I do follow it all on socials and on Twitter, and do follow these guys quite a lot. So yeah, probably some names will probably come out, but yeah, obviously Matteo does sting out a lot to me, but you know, anything can happen, you know, in the last race. So yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting to see. Oh, another one. I found another one. There you go. Noof. Yep, I know him. I have heard of his name, and obviously Dirk as well. So there's a few.
James Head in the stream chat giving a bit of a shout out to you, SJ, saying that it's currently 8 in the morning for you. Is it 8 in the morning there?
Yeah, mate. I'm in. As you can tell, I'm English, but I'm from New Zealand. Yeah, but it's dedication, you know. You gotta commentate the
stuff.
Best league in the world.
And also,
commentate the best league in the world.
Before we go into the race, I think we can debunk a comment here, because this is an Australian stereotype and an Irish stereotype, so I think we can both say. Someone said top of the morning to you. Do Australians say top of the morning? Because we don't, and everyone says it to us. So do you?
No, 'cause I'm not Aussie, unfortunately. I'm still British. I've just been living here for about 10 years, so but no, they don't. They probably go.
Yeah, I've messed that up on 2 accounts, haven't I?
It's probably good day, mate. Shrimp on the belly or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, something to do with shrimps and barbecues and Christmas on the beach and coral reefs and something like that. But that's a different country. SJ is home of the runners-up of the 2023 Rugby World Cup. If there's any New Zealanders watching, they've just turned off the broadcast, but look, we had an embarrassment in the quarterfinals as well. So, that was to New Zealand. Yeah, probably shouldn't have mentioned that. I'm going to be slagged in the stream chat. Right, let's get into what we know best. A bit of motorsport. 16 minutes to go on the qualifying timer. We've got no laps on the board just yet. That's because the session has just started, Mr. Obvious would say. But Dirk is the man we're currently looking at. Wasn't a good race last time out for Dirk. Unfortunately, picked up lap 1 damage, and we had a fairly clean race at Silverstone, apart from one safety car, which was later on in the Grand Prix. Dirk bowed out of proceedings before that, unfortunately. So it was a non-finish for him last time out in Silverstone. We had, of course, that weird freak incident last week as well with Fede, who was going for the race win on the last lap and then all of a sudden stopped magically on the track. If you'd like an update on what actually happened there, the update is no one has a clue what happened there. It was a freak incident, and hopefully we don't get here this evening. Another thing I just want to mention before I completely forget, folks, remember, we've got a new sponsor. We couldn't play the advert last week, but I spoke to you briefly about it. We have Sim Racing Centre now on board here in PSGL. Great to have them alongside us here for this evening and for future seasons, I am sure. But first laps of qualifying are getting underway. SJ, Bahrain, what's your take on it?
It's one of those tracks you got to be really, really careful. Obviously, turn one is probably the key to the start of your lap or the start of your race. Obviously, if you don't take it too well, you can obviously lose positions very, very quick. Very easy to lose it in a lot of places in Bahrain, especially on the back end in that sector 2, going around that lovely swoop that everyone likes to see. But a lot of places to overtake, especially down that sector 3 as well, and into that sector 1 area. They're probably be the most places to overtake as well. And also coming into sector 2, coming up down that hill on that lovely little corner, we have to just ease off onto the brake. If you hit the curb on the right hand side, you can easily lose the back end and spin. But it's going to be very interesting to see, because the cars are going to be very, very congested going into that first lap. So it's going to be very interesting. There's going to be a lot of overtakes, but turn 1, I think, is going to be the key. Obviously for P1, whoever qualifies in P1, as you can see, Dirk is the first car to go out on track and nearly finish off his lap. So I'm looking forward to seeing what these guys can do tonight, Evan.
Covers is in the stream chat asking me for a pole prediction. To be honest, Covers, I have no idea what a good lap time is around here. Are 26s still on trend? No, I think 25s, 24s. I'm probably in the 26s as the driver, so we'll wait and see. But here comes Dirk around the final corner across the line. Whoa, 27.8, so I'm probably way off. Max van der Geest is just starting a lap behind him as well. We'll look further afield, and the two Alfa Romeos are starting a lap. Phil has gone to second. Phil was actually pipped last week after the stewards by 0.001. That's literally the smallest margin you can get. He was pipped after Johan got a penalty removed, so poor Phil was a little bit hard done by. Flopman goes to second, Dara Smith rounding through the final corner. Now, got a podium, of course, in Miami. Can he repeat something similar here in Bahrain? Not for now, only 5th in qualifying, but that is only 0.3 of a second off. Here comes William Murdoch across the start-finish line. 7th for him, but the man behind him, Danielle, has gone quickest. That is first position. Here's Ian Van Unen. Remember, he was good in the nearby located Qatar, or the Lusail International Circuit, and he likes this track as well, I can assure you of that one. Max is not on a lap. No, sorry, that's the other Red Bull of Johan, who just jumps up to 11th position, slowest of the time runners for now. Here is our brilliant Brazilian, Diogo Silva, across the start-finish line. The Williams just behind his teammate Tales, and goes to 7th. Diogo's actually Portuguese. It's Tales that's the brilliant Brazilian. Not a good night for me in nationalities, really, is it?
It's very hard to sometimes pronounce some of them, but yeah, you've just about to see OP Max be there. Jeez, I don't know even if I've got that right now.
Just saying Max, I've been saying it wrong all season, probably. I don't know, I didn't fact check it.
He's about to jump round the corner, and he pushes himself in a 1:28.126, and then you've also got SHS Z feed. I probably got that wrong as well. Coming down, he stays in P15 with a 1:28.275, and you've also got NL Arnouf and TRT Zane. TRT Zane looks like he's going to be in serious trouble. He's got a lot of traffic in front of him. It could slow him right down. He is quicker in that second sector. Now coming on to the third sector, cars getting out the way. There's only 2 cars left, but Zane is the last one on a flyer. What is he going to be able to do? Here we go, coming into the last corner. Ferrari moving out the way there. Right curb, probably going to lose a little bit. Coming up to the DRS, onto the main straight, finishing off his lap, and he just drops into a P16 there of 1:28.532. So looking likely, are we going to see the early 1:27s? That's going to be the question, Evan.
An absolute shocker of a qualifying so far from Alfa Romeo. They're currently 15th and 16th in the session, and they're 8th in the constructors' standings as well, with not much opportunity to gain. There's only of course, oh, hold on, let me do quick maths. 30 points on offer here this evening, so they've got a lot of work to do. A couple of quick pole position predictions in the chat. Covers saying 27.7. Yeah, I think my 25s and 26s was an F1 2021 prediction. I hate driving this track, so I have not done any laps on it in the past, I don't know, year maybe. Covers saying my guess is Flopman 0.4. Covers sticking with his former Outplayed Racing teammate James Head, of course, F1 commentator, saying Ian Van Unen pole 27.3. Okay, James expecting a big cut in the times. Remember, if you want to hear more horrendous takes from James Head, you can tune in to PSGL F1 which is at 8 o'clock, or as I like to say, after our racing here this evening, because you don't really want to be leaving us. We're the star-studded lineup for this evening, and you can tune in with Jess Games and Jane's Head, of course, at 8 p.m. if that is what you prefer. That's how you butter your toast, as they say. Only a couple of cars out on track now, 10 minutes and 30 to go in qualifying, but the top 10 are separated by just over 0.4 of a second. It's quite close.
Yeah, no, it is. It's going to be very interesting to see where the improvements are going to happen. Obviously, 27.7 is a pretty quick lap at the moment. Is anyone going to be able to push on it? You've obviously got Dirk, which is only a 10th behind him. And then even Van Uwen is very, very close to Dirk as well. And then obviously you've got Flotman in the wings. But obviously you've got the leading championship winner in Matteo in 1:27.9. So he'll probably definitely want to improve on that. And so will Zorzo as well. So he'll probably want to be pushing in to the 27s, but yeah, going to be very interesting to see. Obviously, fresh tyres, more grip. Is there going to be more temperature? It's going to be really, really hard now, because obviously you don't want that many cars on track so you congest it, and it can just ruin your lap very easy. So the guys have really got to be switched on, especially the front three, who are all on an outlap as well, and also Mario. But Zorzo's sitting in the pits, just minding his own business. Still a lot of time though to go. It's 9 minutes left of the session, Evan.
Yeah, and another man to look at is Newt. He's not got a lap in on the first trip round like everyone else has, and that is partially where I think he might have lost this championship this season, because his race pace was good, but he just did not have good qualifyings. I think he had a decent qualifying in Austria, and then for the rest of the season it wasn't very good, and he'll be the first to admit that. But Dirk gets his next lap underway. He's the first man on the second run as well, or actually Phil might be ahead of him. No, Phil's behind him. But he is the first man on the second run. He ran through his first lap earlier, so we'll wait and see, can he improve upon that? No, does not improve in the first sector. He's 33 hundredths down, which is quite fitting, considering he is sporting the Max Verstappen helmet in the Aston Martin, which is a peculiar choice. But I suppose everyone to themselves in towards turn number 10, then braking through here. Decent line through there for Dirk, just picking up the curb on the outside. You see some precarious tactics, some peculiar ones from these drivers. I presume riding that outside curb is one of these many tactics that these drivers will employ to try and gain every ounce of lap time here this evening. Up through this right-hander, you can now touch that curb on the outside. Speaking of F1 2021, if you touch that curb on that game, you are gone into the gravel trap on the exit of the corner. Right, technically 2 more corners to go for Dirk here, but there's only one braking zone. This is the braking zone of turn 14 and 15. Get out of this corner successfully, which he hasn't, and that's a lap time invalidation for Dirk. That's not good for him. Very unfortunate for the Aston Martin, but still we have Danielle and we have Ian both on push laps.
Yeah, he had that little bit of a snap right at the end, and that's what it takes, you know, one little mistake and he's just veered off there and invalidates. So he's not going to be happy about that, but he's still got plenty of time to get back out there and go again. He's, like you said, Tiati Danielle on a lap at the moment, coming into that sector 2 area, low on the fuel, so this will probably help him just a little bit more pace, just to see if he's going to be down or up on his time. Coming around the lovely swoop, as I love to call it, pretty clear in front of him, so he doesn't have much traffic apart from the 2 Alfa Romeos. He's up on his time a little bit, probably wants to be up a little bit more on that. And I'm just going to go over to Ian as well, because Ian's up on his time, so this is going to be close between these two guys at the moment. Can he find any more traction in the track, any more grip to push on? Everyone is riding that curve right on the exit there, coming out onto sector 3, crosses the line, does go quicker with a 1:27.670, Evan.
He does, and now we head over to Ian Van Unen, and let's see what he can do here on his next hot lap. Was a good lap there from Danielle to go top of the session by over a 10.5. Van Unen out of the final corner now. Oh, he's made the same mistake as Dirk, hasn't he? That's across the white line, and that is an invalidated lap time at the final hurdle for him. He has fallen heading through the final corner. That's disappointing for Ian, but they got to get back at it and get back at it again. Here comes Max van der Kies, ready for the final corner. A little bit slidey there for the Red Bull. Not necessarily the ideal trajectory through that corner. Seems to be a bit of a problem area for those guys, but The Dutchman goes 6 nonetheless, and that is a good lap from Max. We have plenty more who are looking to get across the start-finish line soon. Phil not going to be one of them. He's into the pit lane. Here comes the Spaniard Zorzo. He invalidates his lap time, but there goes Flotman. Invites himself to the qualifying party, and that is quickest so far, 1:27.6. We're getting closer to that 27.4 time that people are predicting. Newt across the line. Was I mentioning bad qualifyings? This is much better from the German. That's third on the grid now. 0.176 across the line, but that's technically his banker, so plenty more time to find.
Yeah, some of the guys are now through with more times, and obviously you can see there Newf is actually standing at the back of his time. He's pushed himself right up into the P3. Flotman, obviously P6, now pushing himself into P1. So it looks like we're going to be looking at the 27.6s at the moment. I'm just trying to see who else is on the lap at the moment. It is going to be Dirk is on an out lap. Manio is on a lap at the moment. He's in sector 2. Is he going to be up on his time? He is going to have to find 2.5 tenths currently at the moment. It looks like he may have just backed out there with 25% fuel. So, yeah, these guys are going to have another shot, but this is going to be the last shot, Evan, and it's going to be very interesting as we can see some of the guys now just coming into the pits, getting their tyres warmed up again and going again for the last stop of the night.
Yes, here we go. Dirk is out on the circuit. He's going, or he's going to be the pace setter once again in terms of getting out of the pit lane. Whether he's going to be the pace setter in terms of actually getting to the front of the grid, we'll have to wait and see. Let's see what the first sector's like this time around. Oh, it's actually worse than his previous 2 attempts. So if this lap isn't really tracking to be any quicker than what he said, might dive into the pit lane for another set of soft compound tyres and play it from there, really. Play it a bit by ear and see how it goes. Yeah, this is not going to be an improvement. Big slide in towards turn number 10, and I would be inclined to think that he'll back out of this one and then maybe head back to the pit lane and go again. And as he does still have time to do that, pushing it close with 3:55 left on the clock, rounding up here. Yeah, he's 0.3 of a second down, so that will not be a continuation for him. Or if he does continue pushing for the rest of the lap, I think that's ripping up a set of tyres unnecessarily. Skyline is on a lap, then he's heading down towards turn number 11, which is a tricky corner, but it's also one that can provide some overtaking, rather intriguingly. So we'll have to see how that one plays out there, as I believe, is he also backed out of this lap? No, not necessarily. I thought that was a bit slow up there, up through the uphill right-hander, or was it the swoop you said, SJ? I like the name, but I can't remember it.
No, I don't know the track much of the track names. I don't make them
actually,
up. Actually,
here's a fun fact. There's only one that has a track.
Oh!
Yeah, that's very wide from Skyline. There is only one corner here that actually has a track name, a corner name. It's turn number 1. That's known as the Schumacher right-hander after Michael unfortunately had his accident. So we can make up the rest. That means. So let's officially crown turn 12 the swoop.
It's my English coming out. Or you could probably call turn 1 the desk corner as well, because it's it's an interesting one. But no, Bahrain is a very, very fun track. Some people like it, some people hate it. And yeah, I'm sure it's going to be bringing some great overtakes. But it's 2 minutes of qualifying to go, Evan, and it's going to be all out now for most of these guys. The top 3 all set within, well, the top 2 only set within 50 thousandths of a second. And then obviously you've got Noof behind, which is going to have to really pick up the pace. He's nearly 2.5 tenths down. So where's he going to find that pace? That's going to be very interesting. As you can see now, every single car is nearly on track, apart from Skyline and Will Murdoch. So this is a very congested track at the moment. And I'm just trying to find out who is going to be leading us the way.
I think it's going to be Flotman,
I'll
actually.
let you take it through. There you go. So this is going to be interesting. One mistake and it could be curtains for most of these guys. And yeah, I definitely want to see the Aston Martins at the moment in P4 and P5, Dirk and Matteo down in the 27.8. So they're going to have to pick up their time. But back to you.
Right, here we go then. It is 1 minute and 24 seconds left in qualifying for the season 35, I think. Yeah, 35, got it right. PSGL F2 Championship. Flotman in towards turn number 1. It is a heavy braking zone right-hander. You've got to get the car hooked up through here perfectly, nail every short shift and nail the traction out of the corner. It's relatively good from Flotman down towards the turn 4 right-hander. Big overtaking opportunity in the race, but not a care in the world for that as of now from Flotman, running through the left-hand kink here in towards the right-hander. Improvement in the first sector. Narrow, but narrow is good enough here for Flotman because he is the pace setter, so any sort of an improvement will steer him on nicely towards pole position. Speaking of steering, it's a very tricky downhill left-hander. It's a double apex one, braking for the ladder as he hooks the car in nicely. Doesn't use as much curb as we saw Dirk do it, so Dirk maybe with a little bit of a different line through that corner. Sometimes you can see that different lines developing through tricky corners, and certainly we're seeing a bit of a difference between the McLaren and the Aston Martin. Up here towards turn number 12 then, and in towards turn number 13. Not a bad lap for Flotman so far. It's tracking absolutely beautifully. 0.151 improvement in that middle sector. Nail the final corner here, Flotman, and you might have bagged yourself a pole position for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Turn 14 and then the exit, turn 15. Nails that, doesn't cross the track limits. The benchmark is going to be set by Flotman. It is a 127.477. How can these guys attempt to beat that? Next to the top group to complete their run, I believe, is going to be Ian Van Unen, but we could have shocks throughout the field here. The two Williams Racing drivers coming towards the start-finish line as well, or at least one of them is coming towards the start-finish line. Here comes Ian Van Unen into the final corner. That was Dara Smith actually in the Alpine across the line, so he goes to third. Good lap from the Irishman. Here comes Van Unen across the line. He's going to go onto the front row of the grid. How close can you get? Here comes Danielle to steal pole position for Bahrain, but can Newt maybe have a piece of the pie, and can he take pole? Matteo, the championship winner, will not do it. He's invalidated. Dirk is improving in that middle sector. Newt has a major wobble out of the final corner, doesn't invalidate it, but has to bail into the pit lane, meaning I think it's down to Dirk here heading for the final corner. Was narrowly improving. We were looking at 2 laps of his where he made big mistakes. Has he left it late and precise across the line? Here comes the Aston Martin. Can he steal it from Danielle? No, he cannot. Danielle's on pole for the Bahrain Grand Prix.
Yeah, fantastic lap there. 127.426. Very, very close between him and Flotman. A lot of these guys right at the end making mistakes, going very well. He knew it looked like he was going to the shops on that last corner because he completely went the wrong way. And obviously Mario invalidating well, but a very, very good lap there by Danielle, and Flotman just didn't have it in the tank at the end. So yeah, look at that. As you can see, 127.426, a 127.477, and a 127.528. And you can see Diogo Silva and Dara Smith there, nearly 3.5 tenths off P1. So definitely had the time there, but just making that error right on that final sector and that final corner, Evan.
Yes, an absolute cracking qualifying, that one, I think. I wasn't really expecting Danielle to steal it from Flotman, but the Italian does, and there's a Haas on pole here in Bahrain, followed by Flotman, Ian, Dirk, Diogo Silva. Great lap from Diogo there. I did not notice that in the slightest. That's a great lap to bump him up to 5th, and it is Dara Smith, Newt, Fede, Matteo, and Zorzo rounds out your top 10. Further down the order then we have Skyline, Max, Thales, Phil, Johan Zane, and Will Murdoch, who qualifies last. But folks, we will be back in a couple of moments for the Bahrain Grand Prix. But before that, we will give you a quick word from our title sponsors, GT America. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Sakir International Circuit. That's Miami on your screen. I may have forgotten to change the graphic before I put it up. There is the Sakir International Circuit on your screen. It's a 5.412 kilometre circuit, 3.363 miles with 15 corners, 6 to the left and 9 to the right. And a fun fact I love is that the track record is still held by Pedro Della Rosa. But SJ, looking at our race here, have you any predictions on who's going to win this one?
I'm not sure. Obviously, good start there by Flotman and Danielle. It's going to be very interesting to see how those guys take off from the green lights to going into that first corner. Obviously, can't underestimate the guys that didn't have the best of qualifying, and their race pace may be even better. But at the moment, I can't really say. Give me 5 laps, and then I'll probably start making predictions.
Well, Timon has not got a single one right this season, so you're already on equal footing with him. As here we head to the grid, we've got 3, 4, 5 red lights. And ladies and gentlemen, for the final time this season, we go racing in PSGL F2 in Bahrain. That's a great start for Diogo Silva. He's already up to 3rd position here, looking to try get a run on the McLaren in towards turn number 1. Big launch from Ian Van Oonen. A little bit of a backup there between the two Alpines. They're sandwiched with a Williams, as that is Dirk Matteo actually, who has to go off the circuit. The champion not getting a great start here. Flotman is ahead of Danielle in towards turn number 1. He got it done in a straight line. They're 3 wide here in the back. That Skyline getting pinched on the inside of the corner. Newt there in the middle, and no, Newt goes round. The man trying to hold on to 2nd in the championship. His bad luck continues. The German is down to 17th, and Skyline is actually out of the race. He's got no front wing. He's retired on the circuit, and that'll be that for one McLaren. But a great start from the other sees Flotman lead. Your tyres are on your screen now, folks. Only 2 gone for the mediums. That's Fede and Phil.
Yeah, no, a lot of the guys going for that main strategy on the hards, going to push the tyres as much as they can and then go on to a better set. It'll be very interesting to see what SHS Feed can do on those mediums, if he could be able to start making traction and getting past some of these guys on slower tyre at the moment. And the same with ART Phil as well. But a very good start there for Diogo Silva. He has fallen back a little bit, but Duraz Smith is all the way up in a P4, and it's just basically between Flotman and Danielle at the moment. Can Ian keep with them? That's going to be the question. And are we going to see the Skyline losing it right at the end, and Noof falling all the way down 6 seconds behind Zane at the bottom pack? But there you go. The pace has been set by Flotman with 1:33 and 9:03. I think we're going to start to see a few little moves going in the next couple of laps when the DRS is active. As you can see, Tails and someone going for the dive on the right hand side there, having to put the brakes early on. The Haas driver in IRT Phil going for it on the mediums. As you can see, he's got the pace coming up the hill, but look at the traction that Max Vest is going to get behind, and you've also got Ansel having to pull it in, but we're seeing moves at the back already, Evan.
Yeah, this is a cracking race so far here, and just want to quickly note, 2 very quick race starters, Johan and Will Murdoch, Mr. Olympian as we call him, living up to his name. That's 7 and 6 positions respectively for the Red Bull and the Scuderia Ferrari. Up the front though, Flotman is setting the pace, as SJ said. Of course, he is leading this one. 5 tenths is the gap, which it's not really big enough to defend, but it's certainly a healthy enough gap after a couple laps. The real scrapping was down the back of the pack though, as the one saving grace here for Newt is Zorzo's not got the greatest race start either. He's currently not scoring points and needs to outscore Newt by 12 points. If they were tied, Zorzo would get it the 2nd place on count back, because of course he has won a race this season, won his home Grand Prix at the Circuit of Barcelona Catalunya. Newt has not stood on the top of the rostrum so far this season. He's not stood on the top of the rostrum for 4 PSGL seasons. He's looking to end that streak this evening, but it's not looking likely for Newt. Here comes Danielle, tucked into the slipstream of the McLaren. No, nothing major yet for the Italian. Bit of a race saver is Danielle, as that's more promising from Newt. Fastest lap of the Grand Prix.
Yeah, you can see at the moment no moves going on, but I'll tell you something, Tails, bro, is really looking to add on a little bit of excitement, trying to go on for some of these moves down right at the back. I'm looking on Ian as well. He's keeping under 3.5 tenths. He just needs to try and keep with Danielle and Flotman and just guide his way along, as you know that Flotman is going to get no DRS at the front in the next lap or so, because there is no one in front of them. So Danielle is going to be able to make that move, but the guys are starting to get a little bit close, using a little bit of ERS. You can see there, Diogo Silva 62% on his ERS, Mario 56%, so starting to use some of it, and I look like probably see some moves further at the back than the front at the moment. But Ian is still in there with the doubt, but it will be about time very soon for Danielle to start making the move on Flotman, Evan.
Yeah, and this is one good thing I like about not having a title fight maybe in the last race of the season. Obviously, it's much better to have a title fight, but those at the back kind of just go for a few lunges that they mightn't go if there's something at play. Tallis is one of those drivers, he does not let the moment get to him, but certainly when there's not much at stake, the Brazilian will have some fun, and that's something we like to see. And Will Murdoch as well, but even if there was something at stake, Will's probably going to send it up the inside from you for about 150 metres back. That's just the kind of person Will is. But Flotman, new fastest lap of the race, that might be beaten as the train snakes down towards turn number 1, but the race lead will change because Danielle has taken it off Flotman. No real defence there from Flotman. He wasn't really fancy changing that one. That is the disconnect for the Alpina Dara Smith. That's really, really unfortunate for Dara. He was having a great race and was actually proving himself to be a very quick driver here to back up that Miami performance. Unfortunately, a disconnect for him, but one safety car and he is back in it if he can get in the session. My Irish bias once again completely showing and hoping he has a good result.
Yeah, and then going on that on that disconnection, that's such unfortunate at the moment. But Ian Vien is very, very Flotman there. He was really about just under a tenth behind him. He's going to try and make the move. You're going to start to see it really start to move again. He's going to try and get on the slipstream, I would say, on Danielle coming onto that main end of that straight in that sector 3, but keeping with them at the moment. Further down, IRT Phil, he's getting closer as well. Not many moves going on at the moment. Obviously those mediums in SHS feed, he's going to have to really try and push them a little bit more and start to try to make some moves, but I think he won't for the time being. Just manage his tyres currently, but going further up it is Flotman behind IRT Danielle, but now you can see Ian is behind and he is going to make a move. He goes a little, it doesn't get the best of exits there, but here we go. He's going to go on the stream of Flotman. Flotman's going to follow him with Danielle and try and get the DRS, but he's not going to get it done. But Ian, is he going to go on the hand side here going into the first sector? No, he's not. No moves at the moment. Still the same as it stands, Evan. Yeah,
Ian is certainly a long run driver. Matteo more so than Ian. Matteo, I'd say, is the driver who thinks of the long run more than anyone else. Matteo also is a great engineer, which I mention probably every week at this point past Bramer, so he also keeps Ian in check. A good few of these guys would have engineers. When I say engineers, most of them are probably just their mates who have nothing to do on a Monday evening, but still, that helps you think. So maybe Ian getting a call in his ear, don't go for this one yet, Ian, we've good pace, strategy might come into this one, and there is a bright man within that very bright luminous pink crash helmet, as that has just took my eye. I think he's had that all season. No idea how I've not pointed that out yet, as that is very bright.
Yeah, he's going with the nice colours with AlphaTauri, who aren't called AlphaTauri no more. Obviously, I've got
Visa Cash App Racing Bulls, I believe it is. I'm trying to learn it off for 2024, but my God, I don't want to.
It's a big mouthful.
Yeah,
it's a big mouthful, isn't it?
Whatever happened to Minardi? That was a nice one. Covers in the chat saying Dara suffering with a typical Irish internet. Just a reminder, Covers, you're watching the broadcast on Irish internet, so if you're enjoying this action, well, yeah, I don't really know where I'm going with this, but, you know, just to have to defend my fellow countrymen. Anyways, is Flotman going to have to defend from the AlphaTauri? There is moves in the background. Here comes Fede up the inside of Matteo on the outside of Fede, I should say. A little bit boxed in by the Williams in front, but the champ gets the traction and the Aston Martin is ahead. Is he actually going to go for Diogo Silva here as well? Maybe we'll have to wait and see. There's actually a battle for the race lead. Flotman back up the inside in towards turn number 4. That's where he took the race lead from Danielle on the opening lap. That's where he retakes it here on the 6th lap of proceedings.
Yeah, lovely move there from Matteo, getting done, and yeah, really well done. He's now right at the back of Diogo Silva. He's going to try again here. TRT Danielle, though, has lost out, like you said, to Flotman as well, and Ian is just still in the wing. He's just waiting for a mistake to make there. As you can see, the DRS now enabled in that lovely sector 2, and Flotman trying to use as much of the track, trying to get a better grip coming out, but look at the speed Danielle's picking up, getting very, very close, but Ian is still staying with him. He's just waiting for that slipstream and waiting for that mistake, and I reckon we're going to see it very, very soon, as he's now coming down into 3.5 tenths, and we're going to probably see a new move going on again. A little bit further down, though, GL Yohan is getting pretty close to the back of feed, which will probably be the next move to make. We go in with back onto Ian. Let's see what his exit like coming out at the moment. Rides a little bit of the curb there, and he's getting right a very good slipstream, burning some ERS, and Daniel is going to make the move on Flopman, and there's moves going on behind. Oh, look at them. They're all going. Flopman's decided to let and look at this. Ian is coming on the outside, and he's going to get in there in front of the McLaren. Lovely to come back, and he's going to get the slipstream coming up, and he's trying to move. And then Ian moves over to the right. He's got the slipstream. He could do the double overtake here. They're going side by side. They are so close. It's all between them. And Ian in front, but he's still going side by side with TRT Danielle. Flopman just staying in the wings at the moment, waiting for one mistake. He's going to push it down on the outside. Gets the job done. Does he get in front? And it's going to go again now up the hill. They're still battling, going now into 6-2. And there you go. He released position. Great battling there between the front three, Evan.
What an absolute cracking battle that was. All clean, all fair. That's the sort of standards we've come to expect in PSGL F2 this season. And that is three great drivers having one almighty scrap here on lap 7 of proceedings. And hopefully we get that exact battle many a time more for the duration of the Grand Prix here at Sakir. If you're just joining us, a big welcome along to PSGL F2 here in Bahrain. You've missed some great racing, but don't worry, there's plenty more, because weaving they go towards the final corner, which indicates to me that there's a race in our hands. Ian was really opportunistic and got the pair of them throughout the course of that lap. He went for them both into turn number 1, got one, and then was able to attack in towards turn number 4 and 5. Flopman now tucked into the slipstream of the Dutchman in front. Is the McLaren going to be able to lunge one up the inside? Here he goes. No, not quite close enough. Bit of movement in the background though. Diogo Silva's being pinched in, or boxed in I should say, by the two Aston Martins. Dirk ahead, Matteo behind. Further down the field, Newt's doing a good, or I should say doing a good job of trying to catch the field. Unfortunately, he is slowly slipping away, but that is just the horrible effects of a DRS train, really. Once you fall out of it, there's no getting back in.
Yeah, no, and that's what they don't want to do. Dirk is another one to watch at the moment, down in that P4 position. He's getting pretty close to the back of TRT Danielle, and so is Diogo Silva, but like you say, it is a DRS train at the moment, so it's going to be very unfortunate to make any overtakes apart from the front position of Ian. That will probably come under extreme pressure again from Flopman, and he's going to want to be able to try and extend that lead now, burn a little bit of ERS, trying to get out in front. But obviously tyres now down into 7 laps. They are definitely warm, they're definitely ready to go, they've definitely got the traction. The mediums though, still there, feed's still there in that P7 at the moment. IRT there down in P12 at the moment. Not many position changes currently, as you can see. Ian just making up 2, Daniel losing 2, Mario making up 3, GL and Ewan from the beginning making up 7, Will Murdoch making up a massive 8 at the moment. So there's a few position changes, but not much going on as we are coming round to the final corner again, and we're going to have some thing. But TRT Danielle has got a little bit more closer to Flopman, and he's going to make the move. It looks like you're in, and you can see the slipstream, how powerful it is, and Flopman goes for gets them both again, and Dirk now gets them both. Thank you very much. I'm going to get involved. He's now into P4, trying to go into P3. As you can see, him and Ian going side by side. Ian gets in front again. Flopman loses out, and Dirk gets involved in the pass. And he's into P2. Danielle is being pushed out to the side there. And then Flopman's going to have to get involved as well. And it's literally changing up at the moment. It's like a rain changing colours every 5 minutes at the moment. But they're still going on. And you can see Flopman coming out on the inside again of TRT Danielle, trying to get back into that podium position. But be careful, because that time is starting to put away as there is a yellow. And himself, he's still keeping it, and they're still battling between TRT, going side by side with RS, and who's going to be able to come out on top of him. He's still out in front. Dirk in a P2, Flopman, he's going the long way round. Does he get the move done? He's holding it. TRT Daniel is going to try and get the switch back, coming into the final swoop, as I called it earlier. And no, it stays the same. Ian in front, Dirk and Flopman.
Yes, an incredible battle once again, as Flopman, oh, he was right behind, but he's not now. Danielle is right behind him, and he's going to look to return to favour to his former race leader battler now. They're battling for third and fourth. Dirk and Ian have pulled the wool at one of their eyes, and they are now resting nicely in the top two positions. Is Daniel going to go with this in towards turn number one? No, he doesn't. There is a move from Diogo Silva here, though. Backs out of it last minute. Matteo now, oh, he's almost been spun round by Fede, exiting turn number 3, and on the run up towards turn number 4. The two Italians going to scrap here, and they've got Johan in the background as well, the Frenchman. So lots of nationalities scrapping side by side here. Will Murdoch, speaking of different nationalities, represented Britain on a worldwide scale in the Gran Turismo World Series. He now passes the Spaniard for 10th position. That's the final points paying position, but points not really on either of their minds. So I wouldn't say they want success, they want glory, they want wins, they want podiums, but you got to take it one step at a time, really, I suppose. Dirk then now tucked in behind the Alpha Tauri. Dirk has managed his battery well, as has Ian, to be fair. You can look at the steering wheels. They're all kind of doing a good job on the battery despite the battling. Sometimes what you can see is a battle breaks out, someone burns 90% of their ERS, and then it's slowly just like a heavy stone through water for the rest of the race. They will just keep falling and falling and falling. But here we go. Are we going to have a battle on this lap once again? We've had these mad scraps on 2-lap intervals, so I'm hoping that lap 11 means we go well and truly racing once again. Exiting the final corner now to start the 11th lap. These guys will be thinking about a pit stop soon, but not right now. Flotman right into the slipstream of Dirk here. This is going to be a good opportunity for the McLaren to go up the inside now. Ian Van Unen has to defend the position in towards the first corner. Aston Martin trying the long way around the outside. Outside becomes in. Dirk tries to get the traction. Has second become first? No, not right now. Van Unen still defends here up towards turn number 1. Now Flotman's looking opportunistic. They're 3 wide into turn 4. Bit of a nudge from the Aston Martin in behind, but it's the AlphaTauri and the McLaren that remain side by side, I should say. Dirk has to fall line astern. They all fall line astern now. Is there going to be a move into the hairpin? No, there isn't. Van Unen, Flotman, Dirk, Danielle, your top 4, but that's allowed the Williams of Diogo Silva to get right on the back of this train.
Yeah, more drama going on again there. Ian, absolutely fantastic defending on those 10-lap hards. Even though he has no car in front, he's going to have to burn a little bit of the ERS, 67%. As you can see now, Flotman getting onto the DRS, but he's still in the lead. Great defending at the moment. But Talsborough, 508, he's managed to put himself up 9 at the moment. And yeah, watch out for him because he's starting to make moves as well. The same as Will Murdoch, but also did get back in front of him. But this battle at the moment at the front is going to change again. I would definitely 100% think so. Is Ian going to be able to defend again? He's really going to have to do it all over again each lap as it goes. Flotman getting a very good stream, and he's got him this time, as you can see. Look at the slipstream. DRS very, very powerful down. Dirk sitting behind though. Again, is he going to be able to take that P3 to a P2? Moving over to the side, using track as he can, and he goes. Does he go a little bit too deep? And Ian could be in trouble. He's going to go for the switchback, and he's right in the middle. Got nowhere to go. It's completely blocked. He can't go left. He can't go right. And you've got literally Flotman on the left and Dirk on the right. Distance, and Ian is trying to get the traction. Doesn't get the traction coming out of the exit. Drops into P3 and has to position back. But you've also got Mario now, who's up into P4 and is just waiting for the right moment. But there, TRT has a little bit of a tap with Mario and there's damage, and they've got spins at the back, and that's Talesberg on round with looked like just him and himself got tagged in that, but Flotman takes out at the moment with P1 and Dirk in P2 and Ian, but do not watch out for Mario because he is right there. Astons can now work together and try and take Flotman out and take the win of this race. 12 laps in out of 29. Back to you, Evan.
Yes, any number of these guys could really win it. I think me asking you for a prediction now would be even harder than before the race actually started. Dirk. So, oh, okay, that was rather quick. Dirk is the prediction for now. With he's now in second position, working his way through the field nicely. Covers his former rival or fellow racer, I should say, more than rival, actually said that Dirk has good race pace and could win this one before the race even started. So clearly an agreement between you two. Here comes Dirk up the inside now. He's tried this move on many a time, has not been successful. Third time's the charm for Dirk. Leads the race. Van Unen now side by side with his teammate Matteo here. Can he maybe make the move? No, Matteo's lost out there in the long run. Wasn't able to get the traction in towards, or on the exit I should say, at turn number 3 and the run up towards turn number 4. No good there. The lead, however, has changed. Dirk now has it.
Yeah, you can see as well. A bit frustrated. He's really trying. He's probably the only one at the moment far back that is trying to make those moves. He's got to be careful though, because they did have a little bit of a wheel to wheel with him and Matteo. It's going to be one to watch. Coming up to 12 laps now, and obviously the mediums down. Doing a really good job there, keeping into that P7. As we can see, Flopman though pushing out 6.5 temp gap at the moment, but will be reeled back in very, very quickly with that DRS. But Ian is the closest to Flopman as it stands. I think at the moment Dirk trying to put away as much as he can, 6.5 temps. He's really going to have to push, and as you know how powerful that DRS is in that sector 3. TRT Daniel is going to be the one to watch out for. He'll make a move very, very shortly. You've also got Tails, who's lost quite a few positions now. He's now dropping to P13, and obviously Noof having that spin as well. So some of the guys not having the best of races, but here we go on to the main straight, and we've got someone in the pits. Looks like it is Diogo Silva and Zane coming in, and no moves on this lap coming down, but there you go, it is TRT. He is going to really attack again. How is his exit coming out on into sector 1? It doesn't look like we're going to have any moves for the first lap. It's been quite some time, Evan.
Yeah, I saw Diogo Silva come into the pit lane, and I was kind of surprised, and then I realised it's the halfway point of the race. This has been so quick because of the amount of battles we've had. We're on lap 14 to 29. We're almost halfway through this Grand Prix, so that's why Diogo's tried the undercut. He's trying something different, clearly, and he's gone for the medium compounded tyres. They can go from here because Fede's still on them from the start of the race, and there's not been too much of a pace deficit. And of course, Fede will be on much higher fuel on his stint than Diogo will be on his, because Diogo's used half a race worth of fuel. But at 14 at 29, I'm interested to see the strategy from the rest of these guys now, because surely they're going to have to cover off Diogo Silva at some point. We've seen in the past the undercut being an absolute monumental strategy, but it's so quick compared to the overcut. But then you have races like Miami, where the overcut's about 5/10 a lap quicker come the end of the race. So we'll have to wait and see. Dirk usually very proactive with his strategy. He was the man I was talking about with that Miami overcut. He's done undercuts many a time in the past. Just dummies, and yes, in dummies Flopman there. I'm not sure if Flopman was going to commit to the pits either way, but that was a well-executed dummy move from TF10. Dirk, he was making sure Flopman's mind was made up for him, and now he's into the pit lane, and it will be a set of the medium compound of tyres that'll see the Aston Martin from here to the conclusion of this Bahrain Grand Prix. Let's keep an eye on the Portuguese man heading for the final corner. This is Diogo Silva racing for Williams Racing. Of course, best result last season was 8th in this tier. He won the Austrian Grand Prix this season. It's already been a much better season for him. There is Dirk on the pit exit. Diogo Silva trying the outside. No tyre warmers now in Formula 1, so Diogo Silva has these guys up nice and toasty here, and now going to try the outside. Inside, swaps in towards turn number 4. That's a brilliant move from Diogo Silva, who is now ahead of your former race leader. Diogo Silva has brought himself back into the fight for the race win, or I should say well and truly into the fight for the race win for the first time, with a brilliant undercut strategy.
No, definitely. It was around about 23 seconds in front, behind, and he got that job done really well. It's going to obviously take Dirk one lap to get those tyres back into temperature as well, but he's going to come under extreme pressure from Ian, as we've seen Ian being very in this race. As you can see, Ian now trying to get through, but Diogo Silva is pulling away a little bit, but it'll be very interesting to see if he's going to be able to keep the lead, because currently he is the leading car, as the front 8 still needs to pit. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this is going to go now on these mediums. As you can see, the now coming into the pits to make those moves, but Dirk at the moment is not as close to Diogo Silva as he probably wants, but Ian is extremely close to Dirk, so this could be interesting moves going on here. and situation. It's the mediums. Everyone's on, and Ian is going to go for the job done, and there he is, and he's going to get a very good slipstream coming out. But this is the question: you've got to be so careful because there's cars coming out the pits, and this is not helping getting Ian out of the way.
Oh!
And he's trying to keep the lead. Ian is in the way. Aston in the way, and Ian is going to take the lead, but also you've got to watch out because Dirk is coming on the outside, and so's Flopman, and they've been battling all race, and they're side by side. He has to relinquish position, goes into a current, I think, P3 at the moment, and Ian, well, back in front yet again, Evan.
Flopman came out of the pits and was ahead of these four guys. We head through turn number 9, he's behind them. So, goes to show what a couple of corners can do. We have our weekly overcut strategy man, Shizu Fede, who has seemed to have done that pretty much every race this season. Timon, who's usually with me, of course he's from an engineering background, usually is screaming at the man by this point in the race, saying, what the hell are you doing? Me and SJ aren't going to be as harsh, Fede, don't worry. You can do your overcut and live your life whatever way you want. But this battle for the race lead now involves 6 cars pretty much. Danielle, of course, who was leading this race at one point, is now 10th in the Grand Prix. Of course, we still have 4 cars to come into the pits, but that's 6th still. Very quick mathematics on PSGL F2 streams nowadays. Ian sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, 5/10 clear. Might be okay here in towards the first corner in terms of a race lead. Oh, will he? Diogo Silva, is he going to launch it down the inside? No, he doesn't. The problem here is, now it's been okay on this lap, but in other laps it hasn't been. If you lift off and back off into turn number 1, you lose your position. Attack is the best form of defence here this evening.
But you've got to be careful that you don't outbrake yourself, because that's going to be one of those corners. If you outbrake yourself and just go a little bit wide, you can lose. Be switched on, and also you've got to be aware of obviously the cars coming out the pits, as you can see now. Lovely. And Flopman really going for it, very aggressive. They're coming down into that, going back into the situation. You've got to be careful of the awareness of the cars coming out the pits, because you don't want to hit them. You've then got to take the long route round to try and get grip, and then you've got to then use the DRS to then try and gain traction in front and get onto the slipstream of the car in front. So it's pretty difficult. You've really got to time it well, and as you can see, when those cars are coming out of the pits, they don't have the tyres warmed up. The guys already do have the tyres warmed up because they've pitted, so it's pros and cons there, so it's really difficult. But Ian has done a fantastic job, and so has Diogo Silva. But watch out!
Oh, look at Flopman! Look at Flopman! Round the outside for the final corner. It's brave, extremely brave, and it's almost worked out for him. He's now got the slipstream from the Williams in front. The Williams wants to give neither of them the slipstream, really, and he's doing a good job of that, mind you. Dirk now is on the inside and towards turn number 1. Flopman, of course, now has the inside, and Flopman, that's a great move from Flopman if he can get the traction, and he does, and he'll have the slipstream from the Williams. That is an incredible move from Flopman, considering where he went from it from. And Dirk now back at the inside. It's not our 4-wide battle, but it's still a really intriguing 2-wide one here. This has big implications for Matteo behind us. Now they're bumping and banging and gliding their way through the left-hander into the hairpin. It's Aston Martin and McLaren side by side for the first 9 corners of the Secure International Circuit. What's better than that? Add another Aston Martin to the equation. 3 wide and towards turn number 10. It's unseen stuff in the world of single-seater racing. It wasn't going to end in a beautiful tale, however. Matteo was chucked off the circuit and was lucky that he didn't end up in the barrier. He is okay and has all bits of carbon fibre still on his car where they should be, and he's still behind his teammate Dirk. There's no team orders here at Aston Martin. These two, of course, both champions, winning the Constructors' Championship in fine fashion. They're going hell for leather here this evening. Fede now comes into the pit lane. 18 laps on a set of mediums is no mean feat, and that is a great stint from him. Diogo Silva now 1.2 seconds behind Ian Van Unen, who is cutting into this lap traffic. Fede, by the way, doing a soft medium. That's unheard of at Bahrain, even on the games with better tyre wear. Look at the launch from Dirk up the inside. My God, is that late on the brakes? That is last of the late breakers defined in towards the first corner. Diogo Silva doesn't know what just hit him. He's had 3 cars overtake him in towards turn number 4, and the mother of all lunges from TF10 Dirk. That is extremely impressive how he didn't hit the car in front of him.
Yeah. No, some great racing. Absolutely some fantastic. And how he kept that side by side with his teammate was fantastic, but just overdone it a little bit and went very wide off the corner into this sector here, as you can see, nearly into the barrier. He needs to be careful. But these guys are going to have to work together and get Flopman, as Flopman is now Max Feast, who is on 18 lap pads, the very, very old tyres, and needs to get back to Ian, because at the moment, as it stands, Ian is going to win this race. He's got a nice little breather on him at the moment, as looking at the time frame, and yeah, he is probably about a second in front at the moment. So it's going to be very interesting to see if that gap can come down. But the battle at the moment is definitely for this P3. As you can see, Dirk and Mario going at it, and Silva, but they want to have to attack and get past Max Vest very quickly, so we can then start to get on board, having another battle with Flopman. As you can see there, Dirk does get past. Matt Vest still in front at the moment. Mario needs as quick as he can, which he will do with that lovely DRS and powerful there. Max Vest moving over. He's probably not in the right space of mind, because he is on a very old
it's good sportsmanship, that actually.
Easy yellow.
It's very good sportsmanship, actually.
It is good sportsmanship, but yeah.
I don't know why he's done it, but it's good sportsmanship. Like, you're more than entitled to fight your battles. Yes, it will probably end in an instant, but you're yeah. I think he's goal hanging for a safety car, to be honest, or certainly Newt is. Newt leads the race, folks. He hasn't done that this season, unfortunately. He would have loved to, and he'd still love to try and break a 4-season, about to become 5-season drought. And if a safety car came out now, he'd have a good chance of doing it. But unfortunately, it's not looking like it will, because as Covers says in the stream chat, clean racing. That's a first for PSGL this season. Poor Covers has been battered and bruised, and he's been put into walls and put into the gravel and all this season, and the one race he's ill. We have one of our best races of the season in terms of cleanliness, in terms of overtaking, in terms of... not really in terms of drama. We've had plenty, if not too much drama this season. But gap up the front, 1.5 seconds, not really reducing from Flotman. I'll be interested to see what happens when Ian gets into a bit of clean air and has no slipstream or anything in front of him. He will get DRS in a bit from the Alpine, and there is confirmation. Max is out of the final race win of the season. Unfortunately, could not repeat season 34 and take a race win. He is out, unfortunately, and it will be a maximum finish of 10th, or 11th, sorry, in the Drivers' Championship for him.
Yes, no, unfortunate. It is unfortunate, but obviously wasn't going to get any points, and obviously was on very, very old. But Will Murdoch and Diego Silva having a lovely as well. That's probably the only move going on at the moment. It is yellow to 1 and 3. I think it is regarding, obviously, Macbeth coming out of the pits again. Hopefully they don't do that in the new game. Hopefully they start a DNF and they just keep them in pits, because it does cause a lot of problems, especially if it's a lap car and the leader's coming down. But Noof being overtaken by Ian Van Uwen, so he is now in the lead, and same as Max Vest. We'll have to wait and see. Flopman in P3 at the moment, holding on at the moment, but he has been tailed by the Aston most of this race, with now 8 laps remaining. We are going to start to see some action heating up. I can definitely tell it is not over, but Ian is in the driving seat at the moment, and Flopman is now going to catch Noof. He's going to try and get the move done. It's probably going to be another lap. Dirk is very, very close at the moment, but nothing is going to happen on lap 22 at the moment, coming down this main straight. These guys are very spaced out, as we can see Will Murdoch making a move there on Diogo Silva, getting in front, as you can see, burning the ERS there. Diogo Silva down to 10% of ERS. Flopman getting very, very close to Noof, and now we can start to see some battles happening, because Flopman, his target is now Ian, but Ian and him have very low ERS. So how good can Dirk and Mario manage the ERS and go for a real last dasher on the last two in front? Back to you, Evan.
Well, the only thing is, Flotman has kept level. Well, I say level, it's pretty much nothing for both on ERS terms, while catching a second to Ian Van Una. It's not like Ian was saving. He was still pushing to get through a bit of not lap traffic, but slower traffic in the form of Newt, who is going to be overtaken by his title rival, Matteo. That's going to be a little bit of a heart sinker from Newt. That's not really a nice one as Diogo Silva is overtaken by Fede. Diogo, fortunately, falling a bit by the wayside here. I think he just pushed a little bit too much to make that undercut work, and it did work. Look, he had a good few laps really with that undercut, and unfortunately, not the strategy to be for today, but 0.8 of a second separating Ian and Flotman. This could be a cracking battle to the race finish, because the closer Flotman gets to Ian, the closer the rest of them get to Ian. If you're a loyal viewer to F2, you'll have heard me use the Tour de France peloton analogy many a time this season. This is another case of that. Ian was out in his own, and he couldn't lead for too long. The rest of the pack caught him pretty quickly. Newt is just going to lose a few more positions, or actually a bit of a side-by-side behind. This is Will Murdoch being overtaken by Fede. Fede, of course, on the 4-lap old softs. Keep an eye on him. Those softs should pretty much make it to the end of this race, and he might be looking to cut through the field quicker than we think. But 0.5, 0.6, the gap up the front now. It is fluctuating, but this is going to be a good end to the season.
Yes, and Noof still has to pit. He still has to pit. Hasn't pitted yet. Still on those hards. May go for the fastest lap. We'll have to wait and see. May want a safety car. But yeah, that is looking very dull at the moment. 20 on those hards. Still has to pit. So he is going to drop very far down the grid. He'll probably drop down around about P12. So he'll have to make that move now or very close near the end. But we are coming up to Sector 3, where the action is not going to stop, even though the title has by the man himself, Manio, who is in P4 at the moment, who could still spoil the party and put himself on the podium at the moment. But Ian is in the wings. He is leading this race on those 8 laps. Flotman does have the better tyres at the moment than Ian. But here we go, going again. He's around about 6.5 tenths, not probably getting the slipstream he's wanting. Probably going to have it to be another lap. But Dirk is homing in on Flotman. As we've seen, these two have been very close all afternoon, or shall I say morning at the moment for myself. Dirk getting onto the slipstream. DRS not getting there. I think he may just give it a couple of laps and start to play with Flotman at the moment, Evan.
Yes, this is getting really close. A great point by Covers as well in the stream chat. He might be watching between his fingers at this point. If Ian wins this race, he takes P3 in the standings. Top 3 usually get promoted to PSF1. Obviously, champion guaranteed to go up no matter what. Second, look, usually likely to go up. Newt would like that if he could go up. Third, admin sort of threshold, and then fourth, maybe it's UEFA Champions League places, and top 4 go to F1. We'll wait and see. Is Ian going to do a Spurs and fall out of the top 4? We'll wait and see. He's not actually in the top 4 at the minute. He's trying to pass Covers and Zorzo, 4th, 3rd in the standings. And we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. He is pulling this gap, mind you, 7 tenths. Ian maybe just injecting that last little bit of pace for this season. Of course, has won 1 race this season. Ian was on course to win 2 in Qatar, and then had a wheel disconnection, which was awfully bad times. Hasn't won a race since then. Only got 1 podium since then. That was last time out in Silverstone. He'd love to take a 3rd podium of the season and take 3rd in the standings. Bit of a move here in the background. That's Zorzo overtaking the man on the soft compounded tyres. Maybe a little bit of early fall off for Fede.
Fede was actually front last time, so he got grip, and obviously the change of the DRS has moved him back. But Fede coming very close to him again, and he'll probably make the move. Oh, very close there. Ewan nearly went straight up the back of him, and just going back on board with Ian. Ian does have less of the ERS compared to Flotman and Dirk and Mario. As you can see, Mario now 59%. Is he gonna make to the end there? Is the teammate going to let him through? Is he going to another P1, another P2? We'll have to see. It'll be very interesting to make the move over, as they both have a lot of ERS now. So this is not going to help Ian going in the closing stages with his ERS management at the moment, because he's only 21%. Flopman behind on 41, Dirk on 46, and Mario really in with 62. And don't forget Danielle as well. He's battling these Astons and Flopman. As you can see now, Dirk probably going to start making moves on Flopman, as he is around about just under 2 tenths behind Flopman. And Flopman is 3.5 tenths. This is where it's going to happen again. They are really going to start to get, and they are going to start to make the move with 4 laps to go. As you can see, Flopman getting the slipstream. Dirk hanging in the wings at the moment. Flopman doesn't make a move, does he? No, he doesn't. But the Astons are extremely close. They do not want one bad break of that front wing. Dirk coming up, does not get the traction he wants. Getting up the hill there into that one, so it stays the same currently as it does. But Dirk braking very late there, and this is going to go to the wire. This is going to be an absolute phenomenal 3 laps of racing, Evan.
Yes, absolutely spot on. This will be a phenomenal 3 laps of racing. The 2 Aston Martins, I think if Matteo hadn't wrapped up the title at this point, there'd be team orders. I'm not so sure now. I think it has to be fair game at this point. Surely it's not quite Verstappen-Perez territory where one driver is clearly quicker than the other. They're both very good on pace. It's just Matteo's been phenomenal this season. And folks, don't go anywhere. We will be hearing from Matteo, our champion, after the race, regardless of the result. Usually we just do the top 3, but Matteo will be here regardless of where he finishes. But I think he could finish in the top 3 anyways, and then we don't get a choice at that point. But currently lapping about 1.5 seconds off the best race time for each of these guys, which goes to show maybe how close they're running, maybe how the tyres are wearing, and a whole bunch of other things. But 6 tenths is the gap as we're going to start lap 27. We've 3 more laps to go here in PSF2. A Bahrain season finale usually means a last lap battle in PSGL, irregardless of tiers. I remember a few seasons ago an absolute cracker at Bahrain in PSF 5, I know, many years ago, which actually involved Matteo, I believe. So there's a random bit of PSGL trivia for you. These guys, however, now are saving all their battery for a last lap. I think that's really what they're doing here.
Yeah, it's going to be a last dash, which is really interesting. And there you go, Noof getting the fastest lap. They're taking away from Feed. Feed has not been able to get since that overtaking the DRS on lap 26. But yeah, this is going to be a nice little... Mario just sitting behind. He's going to be so pretty concentration here behind his teammate Dirk, who has been very good and really battled the podium tonight. And Flopman, they've all been, even TRT Danielle has been nervous. Is he going to be the first one that tries and makes the move? The spanner in the works for the Aston, puts a Haas damage right in the middle at the moment. That's going to be the question. He's 2.5 tenths down, 54% on his ERS, 78 on Mario. So he has burned a lot of the power and give him some more horsepower going down that lovely main straight. As you can see now, Flopman coming round onto one more corner, going on to lap 28. Ian is doing a phenomenal job. 5.5 tenths out in front. Doesn't have the ERS though, but his management has been great. Is TRT Daniel going to make the move? Is it going to be Mario? Is it going to be Dirk? Is it going to be Flopman? Is it going to be Ian? Or are they going to go another lap? They're getting closer by each lap, but they're running out of time. And Danielle is getting very close to Mario. And does he make the move? No, he doesn't. No mistakes yet. No change. Still going on. Back to you, Evan.
This is just getting... This is getting maybe nervous for the drivers on the track. It is building to be an absolute cracker for us here. It's been building at a crescendo since the first corner of the race. We're going to have AlphaTauri, or whatever the hell you want to call them in the future, versus McLaren versus Aston Martin versus Aston Martin. SJ, you said a couple of laps ago Dirk was your prediction for the winner. Has that changed?
No, it's still the same, my friend. It's just going to actually get the final say on the comms box for the end. That's going to be the question, because it's been me, it's been you. We've been in so many actions tonight, so many battles, but this is coming down to the final stages. I'm keeping with Dirk. I think he's going to try and get the slipstream of Flopman on this lap, and then he's going to go for Ian because he has more ERS. But is he going to burn it by trying to get past Flopman, or Flopman going to make the move on Ian? It's just who's going to make the first move. It's going to be the interesting one. I've seen TRT Danielle being making moves quite a lot through this race tonight. Mario just
Look at
sitting in the wings.
Flopman. Flopman
He
just
is very,
weaving.
very close.
He's weaving to tactically set up that he doesn't get past too early. Phil took the fastest lap of the Grand Prix from 14th, but here we go. It's the last lap of season 35. Flopman versus Vanoonen in towards turn number 1. Can the two Aston Martins have something to say about it? Braking for the first right-hander. Oh, Ian Vanoonen's parked it on the apex. That's given the two Astons a chance here, because it was looking like Flopman was going to set off into the sunset. Now has to fight for this one. Oh, look at this. He's on towards the AstroTurf on the right-hand side. And Dirk hangs it round the outside. The three wide here on the final lap of the race. All the time you have to leave the space, says Flopman, as he now takes the race lead in towards the hairpin. There's a dive on here, surely. Flopman takes the outside line. It's a block pass manoeuvre from Dirk in the Aston Martin. The Dutchman has played that superbly. All their batteries almost completely burned. Ian Vanoonen now side by side with Flopman, shoves Flopman off the circuit, and Flopman's actually hit the wall. He's actually ran off and hit the wall there to the right hand side, and now he's merged the back of Matteo. It's all gone wrong for the McLaren, but could Ian Vanoonen maybe have one more lunge up the inside of the Aston Martin? He needs to do this if he wants to take third in the championship. Flopman, big dive up the inside of Matteo. Ian's got to get past if he wants third in the championship, but I'm not sure that's going to be a feasible goal here. Heading into the final corner, Matteo doesn't lunge for it. Aston Martin, the Constructors' champions, show their class as Dirk comes round the final corner to win the Bahrain Grand Prix. The man from Rouen did not ruin Matteo's day, or did not ruin Ian's day, I should say. The Dutchman did. Dirk wins the Bahrain Grand Prix. I think that was everything we could have asked for.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, SJ, you called it.
End to PSGL.
It's our first right prediction of the season.
I need to be in the comments box more. I can't. Right, but there was a lot of commotion back there. As you see, Flopman finished P6. He came together with Danielle, who dropped down P11. Great moves there, great play on the Astons, and that really did make it right at the end. I've got to say a massive congratulations to Ian Van. He did so well. He knew that last lap he was going to come under extreme pressure from all three, from Dirk, from Mario, and also from Flopman, and he managed to keep it and hold it. There was a little bit of wheel bashing you could see on that last lap, but fantastic move coming down the inside there from Dirk, and he just kept it at the right moments. Fantastic driving, great way to end PSGL season 35, and yeah, I did get it right. Look at that. Time in the comments box for F2, and he gets the prediction spot on.
Incredible. Fair play for getting the prediction.
Sorry, that's gonna hate you now, because
no, I don't make predictions, so I'm fine, and I'm more than happy for Timon to get humbled. So, you know, absolutely spot on. But there's your race winner lifting the trophy. Aston Martin have not had a half bad season, have they? Constructors champions. They have won 7 races this season. Oh no, hold on, that's definitely wrong, because the standings have been changed to say Dirk has won 7 rounds. I don't think he's done that this season. He's been good as Dirk, but he's not won 7 rounds. He's won 2, so it is now 7. But there it is. It is the 2 Dutchies on top, Dirk and Ian Vanoonen, and then there's Matteo, Zorzo, Fede, Flopman, Will Murdoch fighting back to 7th, and then Johan, Diogo Silva, Zane, Danielle, Newt. And then you're not, and Dara Smith in 13th. Don't think he did ever rejoin us. Then Phil took the fast lap in 14th. Your non-finishers were Max, Talas, and Skyline. No safety cars. That's peculiar as well. But we are going to have some post-race interviews now, ladies and gentlemen. Who are we going to get? Oh, there's no one in the waiting room. Matteo will be joining us at some point. But SJ, how did you find your first F2 commentary experience this season?
Yeah. Well, I've done a few, but that was really good for a finale race, and obviously knowing no knowledge about any of these drivers, great to watch. I'd love to hear what Dirk has to say, because that was a fantastic race by him, and the same with Ian as well. But no, really good. Very fantastically, very clean. Yeah, a few incidents earlier on, obviously with I think it was with Skyline retiring quite early on, but no, and it's entertainment. It's entertainment for the viewers, for the audience, to listen to that comms and entertainment for everyone else watching in, for the last race, which Bahrain can be a boring race. You can get stuck in the DRS train and you have that moves going in the first corner. But no, absolutely fantastic way to end. And yeah, thanks for the opportunity in the comments box with yourself, Evan.
No, it's an absolute pleasure to have you here. It is an absolute pleasure. None of our drivers have joined the interview channel. Oh, here we go. Dirk is going to join us now. You're a race winner from today, or is he? Because he keeps joining and leaving. Right, let's bring him in. Or no, let's not bring him in because he's left again. I think Dirk could be trolling me here because he keeps joining and leaving the waiting room, so I can't bring him in. Right, okay, here we go. Hello, Dirk. Can you hear us? Hello. Oh, yeah. I think I am being trolled. Let's bring in Dirk, and we've Matteo joining us as well. Let's bring in Matteo. Hello, Matteo. Can you hear us? Hello, Aston Martins. Can you hear us? Maybe.
Can you hear me?
Yes! Oh, finally. I thought I was going to have to keep talking to myself. Mr. Champion, another good race today. But obviously we didn't get to speak to you last week when we crowned you champion. F2 champion for season 35. F1 awaits. How does that feel?
I gotta say, last week I felt a river of emotions in me. At the start of the season, I didn't think I deserved to be in F2 because I only got P4 in the F3 standings. But I like challenges. I think that to improve, you gotta race against the best, against maybe even stronger drivers than you. So I accepted the challenge, and this season was the result basically. I always knew it was going to be on consistency rather than pure pace. We saw a really good fight between me and Newt, and I always knew he was my only rival because after some races he was the only one that was being as consistent as me. And I think the turning point was Singapore because he made a really big mistake. And from then on, I kept increasing my gap. But yeah, obviously a really good fight. I really enjoyed it. And Newt was probably the best rival to have for this season. Because even though we didn't really meet on track, he really challenged me to push me to my max. And yeah.
Well, let me just read out a few tracks. Qatar, Monza, Singapore, Miami and Silverstone. All wins for you this season. I think I may know the answer, but if you had to pick a favourite win, which one would you go for?
I will say Monza, obviously, because it's my home track. Got the pole position with a flyer in the last sector. Got the most dominant win of this season by more than 5 seconds. So yeah, obviously all of them were good, but Monza was the best one, definitely.
Today, then, let's just have a quick chat about it, obviously, because you're still technically doing a podium interview. Bit of a chaotic one out there today. Something, I suppose, that you wouldn't have liked to face if you had not been champion. But as champion, could you just have a bit of fun out there, make a few dive bombs here and there?
Yeah. As you saw, my quali wasn't really on point, which was my main worry going into this season, but I kind of fixed it. I tried to do a comeback, as always, and I think I managed to do so. The last lap were a bit chaotic. I took it safely because I didn't want to do some stupid stuff, ruin fights for other positions. I just took it safely, took the chances I got, like the one on Flopman. And yeah, that's it. I tried to have a bit of fun in the first laps, but then when I saw that overtakes were kind of risky, I just settled for whatever position would come to me, and P3 it was.
Let's look a little bit onto next season then. Another man who kind of ripped through the tiers or came from F3 to F2 and won that championship and then went up to F1 was Jerry Van Bussel, who then went on to win the F1 championship. Can we see maybe this time next season Matteo be crowned King of PlayStation?
I would be lying if I said I didn't already think about it. I know obviously it will be an even tougher challenge than this season. Qualifying always being my weak point, but I will keep working on that. I know more work will have to be put in So yeah, I'll just try to do my best, enjoy the season, because after all, I mean, I'm among the best on PlayStation, and see what comes out. Hopefully another title, but I know it will be even harder.
Now, Matteo, we have a bit of a debutant here in the commentary box this evening. That Dutch fella Timon is gone. We have SJ joining us. It's currently 9:20 in the morning for him, but that's besides the point. So, SJ, have you got any questions for Matteo?
Yeah. Obviously tonight, obviously I've followed you on Twitter and I've followed some of your performances, but obviously my first time seeing you race tonight and obviously being in the comms box. What was it like? Because you obviously weren't in the line. It was actually your teammate in Dirk. So how difficult was it staying within that in that three-way battle? Because obviously you had Danielle tonight that made some really big moves, and the battle between obviously Flopman and obviously Ian and Dirk tonight. How did you manage to keep it in there? Because you went very wide. I think it was on 24. Could have actually had a DNF if you didn't put it back in. What was it like feeling around with your teammate tonight and trying to keep in with that DRS train as well, which is so powerful in Bahrain?
To be honest, we didn't really work together with Dirk. We never were in a party. We never had really good communication in the races. But yeah, as I said earlier in the season in Qatar, I would have helped him if it was necessary for the Constructors' Championship. Coming into this race, the Constructors' Championship was already wrapped up. But, I think the other Aston Martin was the only car I could help. So I tried, as I said, to not do stupid stuff and not ruin any fights for other positions.
Yeah, that's unusual here because it's normally the case that some of these teammates they just don't work together or are not in a party, and you couldn't see that on track. See that you were sitting back behind him. He was trying to get the slipstream. As you could see, the slipstream was very powerful on that main straight when he had a lot of ER. But, no, absolutely fantastic. And obviously tonight was. I'm sure you've had an amazing season, and looking forward to following you in F1 next season.
Thanks. Yeah, obviously we didn't communicate, but I always have a good relationship with Dirk. So yeah, no problems at all with him.
Speaking of the devil, Dirk is here now. It took about 16 attempts to get him in, but Dirk, you are here. You are on mute, by the way, Dirk, in case you didn't realise. A question to you both. You were both really dominant in the Constructors' Championship this season. Is that a nice thing to have as well? Obviously, Matteo, you're champion, but you're a double champion now. And Dirk, is it nice to be the Constructors' Champion?
To be honest, this may be a fun story, but I always want to choose a teammate from who I think he will drive behind me, so I don't get double stacked in the pit lane. So I didn't expect too much from Matteo, and now he's the champion. So I guess I didn't expect that. But
that's called having faith in your partner, I suppose. But Dirk,
sorry, can you?
No, I was just being sarcastic again, don't worry. Dirk, a great race win for you this evening. SJ alongside me actually called it in the commentary box at about lap 12. Covers called it in the stream chat, said you have great race pace. To be honest, I'm not sure still how you made that move stick on the last lap. How does it feel to win today?
Yeah, it feels good because I didn't really practice a lot for this race because I couldn't win a championship. I knew that I was pretty safe to stay in F2 next season because I was just in the midfield of F2. But I started practicing yesterday and the pace instantly was there. So I said today already that if I don't win, I would have fucked it up quite a bit because I knew that I had the pace to win it. But yeah, you still need to do it. And when I had the fights with Flopman and Matteo, I also said to people in my PlayStation party that the win was slipping away. But it was hard after getting pushed off at the start and being down into P6, but just made the smart moves. So I ended up in P1.
Well, Dirk, congratulations on the race win today. It's great to have you winning multiple races in a season again. And of course, you took a great win today. Matteo took a great championship season. And it's been a pleasure to have you both join us this season. So that, ladies and gentlemen, I do believe is all we have time for here in PSGL F2. Just a final big thank you to the man who's joined me this evening. SJ, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks, man. That was great accomplishment there as well to jump in from to PSGL. I've done a bit of commentating myself in obviously my own league, and to be given the opportunity, and I've got to say thanks to James, Jess, the big man himself, Connor, and obviously yourself tonight as well. And I'm looking forward to doing obviously more commentating PSGL, and thanks for giving me an extra audience and entertainment rate as much. It probably wasn't to some extent, but it was great to see the battles between Flopman and Dirk and Ian tonight. They were really, really good battling wheel-to-wheel action, and yeah, really, really good to get the prediction right as well, and also to meet the famous Evan Dalton. Talking with you as well, all your TikToks. And,
yeah, big TikTok star, me.
Love the Irish. Love the Irish accent as well. So thank you ever so much, and once again, thanks to PSGL for having me.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, a big thanks for you as well. We're going to let you go to PSGL F1 after a few commercials, but from myself and on behalf of Time, a big thanks for joining us throughout the entire course of this season. PSGL will be back soon. There's track vote sign-ups open at the minute, so get yourself over there. If you want to race here next season, if you want to be the next Or Matteo and win the PSGL F2 Championship, you'll be automatically directed over to PSGL F1 once I end the broadcast here, which will be straight after the adverts, so you don't have to go anywhere. But once again, and a final time for this season, stay safe, stay well, and we shall see you next time. Bye-bye.
He's got the inside, but up here he's through on the left-hand side. Hooks the apex, gets on the power nicely, and that is job done. Jarno Opmeer now to the last couple of corners now. His finest drive, his greatest drive, and he's done it at the Circuit of the Americas. He returns to the top step of the podium. Once again, the GOAT is back. Jarno Opmeer wins the US Grand Prix in a stunning Grand Prix.
Got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose